Alright, time for a demo. What we are going to do is a small refactoring. I'm going to move a few things around. I will create a new Razor class library and move the map component therein. Then we will also need to make a change to the main project that now needs to have a few things changed to it for the map component to work as before. I'm now going to move the map component as well as the assets that we added, so the CSS and the JavaScript, into a separate Razor class library. Let's start by adding a Razor class library to our solution first. So I'm going to right click on the solution, say new project, and then select Razor class library. I'm going to name this Bethany Spy Shop HRM.components library. Here is a generated project. Quite a few things are generated by default. Let's throw those out. We don't really need those. I'm going to delete the contents of the www.root folder. I'm also going to delete the component one.razor, as well as the example.js interop. In this Razor class library, we can put components as well as static files. And since our map component is a general component, we might be able to use this in multiple projects. It makes sense to move this into a components library. So let's do that. I'm going to scroll here, and I'm going to cut the map component and the component class, of course, and paste it here in the components library. That's the map. And it is also deleted from the components folder. That's good. I'm going to do the same for the delivery map and the leaflet folder. I'm going to paste that here inside of the www.root folder. Now, if you look back at the map component, it's going to complain that we still need a reference to the marker class. It doesn't know about that. So we'll need to add a project reference here to the shared project. There we go. I'm not really happy with the namespace here. So I'm going to change the namespace to match the folder structure. So then it becomes Bethany Spy Shop HRM.components library. That is now the namespace. Let's make sure that this builds already. So let's build the components library. All right, that's good. Now we can go back to our Blazor project and add a project reference. I'm going to reference the components library. Now our component, our map component that is, now lives in a different namespace. So that's the first thing I'll fix. I'm going to go to our imports file, and I'm going to bring in a using here for the Bethany Spy Shop HRM.components library. Now all components, in our case just the map component, are available from our Blazor application. Now remember, in the previous demo we also made a change in the index.html. There we referenced the leaflet.css and the delivery map and the leaflet.js. Now when we use static assets from a separate project, so from a components library in our case, you need to use a different notation. Let's first change the link to the CSS file here. So we always need to use this type of notation here, underscore content, then the assembly, and then the file name, including perhaps the folder. I will do the same for these two script files here. They also will use this type of notation. I think we're good. Let's do a build. All right, and let's now run the application and do a hard refresh to make sure that the correct files are downloaded. All right, so do a hard refresh in the browser. Let's now navigate again to employees, full details of Bethany, and our map component is still working. But it is now inside of a separate project that we can then reuse across multiple other projects.